Okay, so let's unpack this Dallas Stars team.
Right.
You see the highlights, right? Robertson's just magic with the puck sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And Oettinger uh, shutting the door,
Mm.
it gets you thinking.
Yeah, could this actually be the year they really go for the cup?
Exactly. That's what we're trying to
Wait,
figure out in
that.
this deep dive. We've looked at the season numbers, thought about a potential X factor.
And even what the fans are saying, yeah.
Yeah, tapped into the fan
Uh,
polls, just trying to see if they've really got all the pieces for a serious playoff run.
Well, the first thing that really stands out when you look at Dallas is just the sheer offense.
Oh, absolutely.
Their record, obviously, it shows they were consistent all season, but, the story behind the numbers is even better.
Totally. I mean, that top line, Robertson, Pavelski, Hintz, it's not just good.
No, it's elite, operating at an insane level.
Top 5 scoring line in the whole NHL.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there tells you a lot about why they're successful.
It really does. It's not just like individual skill floating around.
No.
You can see how they work together, that chemistry creating constant pressure.
Right, and if you look at the analytics, the high danger chances.
Yeah, the volume is there, quality chances, not just pucks thrown at the net.
And then you've got the guy behind him, Jake Oettinger.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about Oettinger. Since the All-Star red.
Wow. Right. His save percentage, it's been consistently, what, .920 or higher?
Mm-hmm. Sustained high performance like that. From your goalie, that's the foundation for playoff success right there.
It really, really can be.
Yeah.
And we can't forget the power play either.
Oh, definitely not. Clicking at 25%.
Yeah, third in the league. That's huge.
In the playoffs, games get so tight, special teams, they can absolutely be the difference maker. A power play goal here or there.
It swings the series.
Yeah.
But, okay, as we kind of dig a bit deeper, there is an area that, raises a few eyebrows.
The defense.
Yeah, the offense is clearly there. The goaltending, when he's on, is elite. But the sources seem to point towards defensive depth.
Specifically after Miro Heiskanen.
Right. He's undeniably top tier, a #1 guy.
No question. But behind him, the consistency, the overall strength of those other pairings feels like a bit of a question mark.
And we've seen it tested, haven't we?
We have.
Think about that Vegas series in the playoffs last year.
Right. A team that just forechecks relentlessly like Vegas.
They gave Dallas fits. Really disrupted their breakouts, hemmed them in their own zone.
And you look at the personnel, Ryan Suter, he brings that veteran presence, sure, but
Who's good is up there in age.
yeah. And Nils Lundqvist, he hasn't quite, grabbed that top 4 spot consistently and run with it.
No, not consistently. And that's where it gets tough against teams that can roll 4 lines and keep the pressure on.
Precisely. Playoff hockey just dials up that intensity. Teams will target what they think is a weakness. So if the Stars struggle to get clean exits under pressure, or if those pairings, outside of Heiskanen's are getting caved in possession-wise.
Or giving up too many scoring chances against.
Yeah, that could become a really significant problem in those tight playoff games. A liability, really.
Okay, so you've got the great offense, the potentially great goalie, but these defensive questions, it kind of puts the spotlight onto the playoffs, doesn't it?
It does.
Every team that makes a deep run seems to have that X factor, someone or maybe something that just elevates things when it matters most.
Right.
And since the trade deadline's passed, we're looking at who they have now. And Wyatt Johnston really jumps out.
He really does. What he's done as a rookie has been pretty incredible.
Yeah, just making the team is one thing, but contributing offensively, clutch goals.
And playing responsibly defensively, too. A solid two-way game for such a young player.
His underlying numbers look good, too, right? Like the expected goal stuff suggests it's not just luck.
No, he's genuinely driving positive play when he's out there.
He is. He seems mature, doesn't look rattled by the NHL pace.
Agreed. But here's the big question. Coach Pete DeBoer, in those huge moments, late in a close game, maybe a game 7, is he going to trust a young guy like Johnston with big minutes?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Coaching tendencies under pressure, they always get magnified in the playoffs.
And there's that reference in the source material, right, about DeBoer maybe being a bit hesitant with younger players in key spots before.
Yeah, that line about him burying Kama's hurdle in Vegas.
Right.
Whether it's entirely fair or not, that historical example, it makes you wonder, could it happen again?
It definitely fuels some concern. Will he default to his veterans, the guys he knows, even if Johnston's been playing lights out?
Exactly. And you see that worry reflected with the fans, too. Like, you'll see that hypothetical tweet pop up.
DeBoer hates rookies or something like that.
It just captures that nervousness, that worry about whether the young talent will get the chance when it counts most.
It's funny how past decisions, different teams even, can shape those narratives heading into a playoff run.
Totally. That trust between a coach and his players, especially the young ones in big moments, it can be huge.
Absolutely critical sometimes.
So speaking of the fans, let's check the pulse there. See what they think is the biggest roadblock for the Stars.
Okay. Always interesting to get that perspective.
Yeah, I ran a quick poll, just asked, what's the biggest threat to Dallas? The results were, well, pretty interesting.
All right, let's hear it. What are the main concerns from the fan base?
Okay, so the top one, 42% was goaltending depth.
Okay. So not necessarily Oettinger himself, but what's behind him.
Exactly. Like, Oettinger can be amazing, but what if he stumbles? Or, heaven forbid, gets hurt? There are definitely questions about who steps in reliably.
Makes sense. Playoff runs often test goalie depth. What was next?
Next, at 33%, was the Colorado Avalanche's speed.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I got to admit, that one worries me personally, too.
Understandable. That team can absolutely fly.
Just the thought of Nathan MacKinnon going up against Miro Heiskanen for like 7 games.
That's a heavyweight matchup. And Colorado's overall team speed, it puts immense pressure on your defense, on your goalie.
Constantly. They generate chances just through pure speed and skill. That's a tough matchup for anyone, let alone a team with some defensive question marks.
For sure. Very legitimate concern. What was the third one?
Third, at 25%, was DeBoer's coaching.
Okay, so back to the coach.
Yeah. So that trust issue we talked about, his deployment, maybe in-game decisions during the playoffs, it's clearly on the minds of a decent chunk of the fans.
Interesting split. Goalie depth, a specific tough opponent, and the coaching.
Right. And just, to give you a feel for the fan passion, let's just say we've seen some very energetic comments in previous discussions.
Just slight chuckle, I can imagine.
A real mix, funny stuff, angry stuff. Playoff hockey just brings it all out.
It really does. That passion, that engagement, it's what makes this time of year so great. Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's invested.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Bring it all together. This Stars team, they've shown they can be a real force, a wagon sometimes.
Definitely. That top line is lethal. An engine for the whole team.
And Oettinger, when he's locked in, he can absolutely steal games.
But they're not perfect.
No, not perfect. Those vulnerabilities, especially on D, they're real.
Yeah. So for them to really be in that top tier, like true Stanley Cup favorite status, a few things probably need to happen.
Agreed. What's top of the list for you?
Well, shoring up that defense seems crucial. Getting consistent performance from everyone, not just Heiskanen.
Maybe finding that more physical defenseman, someone who clears the net, wins board battles.
Exactly. Like a Chris Tanev type player, for example. That kind of addition could make a big difference to their blue line structure.
Yeah, that grit, that reliability.
Yeah.
You need that against the heavy teams in the playoffs. What else?
Special teams have to stay elite. That power play needs to keep converting, and the penalty kill needs to be strong.
Can't afford to lose the special teams battle in a tight series.
Nope. Game changers, like we said.
And maybe the biggest thing.
Oettinger.
Jake Oettinger. He needs to be more than just good.
He needs to be spectacular.
Yeah.
Needs to find that next level. Be the guy who, literally wins them games they maybe shouldn't win.
Steals a couple, right? At least 2 games where he just stands on his head.
That's often the difference, isn't it? That elite game-stealing goaltending in a playoff run.
It really is. So, okay, if those things align, if they get that defensive stability, if the special teams keep rolling, and if Oettinger plays out of his mind,
then yeah, Dallas is absolutely a legitimate threat to go all the way.
If those pieces don't quite fall into place,
could be another promising season that ends, sooner than they'd like. Disappointing exit.
Right. But, they're feeling with this group a hunger. And if I were to channel my inner Jamie Benn for a second.
Uh-oh. Here it comes.
We're not going home.
A slight chuckle. Love the energy.
So what do you think? Where do you land on the Stars? Can they make that serious push for the Cup? Let us know what you think down in the comments.
Yeah, jump in the conversation.
And definitely subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive. We'll be breaking down whoever they draw in that first playoff matchup.